Hello and welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport. The 2021 IndyCar Series kicks off this weekend, so let's take a look at all the driver changes, as well as considering who has the best chance of being champion, because I have such a good record with predictions. Normally IndyCar starts off in St. Petersburg in March, but we are kicking off in Birmingham. Not in the UK, there's far too much drizzle for that. No, we are kicking off in Sweet Home, Alabama. So let's take in a preview of the 2021 IndyCar Championship. And you'll have to wait till the end to get my championship prediction. So stick around and maybe subscribe.
Welcome to Frontrunner Motorsport.
AJ Foyt, a team that has been racing in the series since the beginning in 1996, owned by a man who has won 4 Indy 500s, as well as the 24 Hours of Le Mans and Daytona 500. You'd expect them to be a successful outfit, but they have only won 2 races in the last 20 years. Ayrton Dare in Kansas in 2002 and Takuma Sato in Long Beach in 2013. So times have been tough for the Foyt team. Charlie Kimball returns, but won't be racing a full season this year, only the 2 Indianapolis rounds. Stepping up from part-time last year to full-time this year is Canadian Dalton Kellet. He didn't finish inside the top 20, so we'll be hoping to do a bit better in 2021. Joining him will be experienced campaigner Sébastien Bourdais, who is this team's best chance of success. He only had a couple of races last year and still got a 4th place for AJ Foyt, by far their best result of the year. JR Hildebrand is down to race in the Indy 500 as well, and he almost won it in 2011, but hasn't been good for a while, so I don't know why they bother. I don't think AJ Foyt are title contenders, but Sébastien Bourdais could get some good finishes and maybe even press for a first win in 12 years. Andretti. Let's start with the biggest change for the team, the semi-retirement of Marco Andretti, who, let's face it, isn't very good and hasn't been good for a while. In 15 years he only ever managed to win 2 races, the last of which was all the way back in 2011. He is down to race the Indy 500, which he started on pole in 2020, but other than that he is going to be a testing and development driver for the team going forward. Also gone is Zach Veach, who looked like a good young talent, but the core of the team remains the same, with Alexander Rossi entering a 6th season with the team, and he will be looking to get back to form after a disappointing 2020. Ryan Hunter-Reay is on his 12th year with Andretti, and the former champion and Indy 500 winner will also be hoping to be competitive, whilst James Hinchcliffe will be returning to full-time action after a part-time campaign for Andretti last year and may need time to get back into the swing of it. The standout Andretti performer last year was 21-year-old Colton Herter. In just his 2nd full-time IndyCar series he took 3rd in the championships. He looked like a real talent and it'll be interesting to see how he performs in 2021 with another year's experience under his belt. Andretti have a good lineup, all 4 full-time drivers can take wins and score decent points, and it'll be interesting to see if they can mount an attack on the driver's title. Arrow Mclaren Sp. This is McLaren, one of the greatest Formula 1 manufacturers in history. Racing in America along with Arrow's Electronics, the outfit has existed for just a couple of years, but has competed in IndyCar since 2001 as Sam Schmidt Motorsports. With the added benefit of McLaren's extensive racing experience, you'd think this team would be a threat. And in their first year they picked up podiums with their young team of Patricio O'Ward and Oliver Askew. Well, Askew will not be returning in 2021, but Patricio O'Ward will be, and this year his aim has got to be overall victories. 4th in the standings in your first year is a massive achievement, and the Mexican could have one eye on a future Formula 1 drive. If you're in the McLaren setup, why not? Joining him from Chip Ganassi is Felix Rosenquist, who has been a steady hand in IndyCar so far and took his first win in 2020. A good signing who could move this team forward. They also have Juan Pablo Montoya joining the team for the Indianapolis rounds, a 2-time Indy 500 winner and a former McLaren Formula 1 driver before being sacked for crashing too much. Apart from racing for Zach Brown's United Autosport team at Le Mans in 2018, this is the first time Montoya has raced for McLaren since 2006. This team could impress and both full-time drivers will be looking for wins in 2021. Carlin. This is Carlin's 4th year in IndyCar and they just don't seem interested anymore. Max Chilton has been there for a few years and has never been good. He hasn't won a race since 2015 in Indy Lights, also for Carlin. He's never won a championship, and given that he's missing 3 races, he's not winning this one. Carlin haven't announced their other driver. It'll probably be Connor Daly. He's only getting a few races, so it doesn't really matter. Chip Ganassi. Scott Dixon will be going in as reigning champion and will be looking to get his 7th IndyCar title. He is one of the favourites for title success again, and Chip Ganassi are one of the most successful teams in the series, so I wouldn't bet against him. Joining him is Swedish waste of space Marcus Ericsson, who continues his reign of mediocrity. To be fair, he did better last year, but he will forever be mid-table. Alex Palau is their final full-time driver, and he did well in his first year in 2020, getting a podium with Dale Coyne at Road America. It's not the strongest lineup in Chip Ganassi history, and definitely reliant on Scott Dixon, but they have a couple of part-time drivers too. Tony Kanaan is a former champion, returning to Chip Ganassi for the first time since 2017. He hasn't won since 2014, but is an experienced hand nonetheless. Joining for his IndyCar debut is former 7-time NASCAR champion Jimmy Johnson. I don't think he's going to be very good. There is a big difference between NASCAR and IndyCar, but maybe we will see him get to grips at some point. Scott Dixon definitely has a chance of Title 7, but overall this is a pretty weak lineup for Chip Ganassi. The focus will almost completely be on Dixon. Everyone else will be happy with midfield finishes. Dale Coyne. After a year off, Ed Jones returns to Dale Coyne for a full season of racing. He will be the team's only full-time driver this year, and the former Indy 500 podium sitter will be looking to get back in the swing of things. Joining him is Romain Grosjean, who is up there for signing of the season. He won't be racing the ovals, but is a good experienced driver looking for something new after leaving Formula 1 and recovering from his horrible injuries. IndyCar is the perfect space to begin again for the Frenchman. He is maybe the next best choice for Rookie of the Year behind McLaughlin, whilst fellow Haas employee Pietro Fittipaldi will be taking up his oval duties. Dale Coyne also has an open seat for the Indy 500 with no announced driver. My best guess would be James Davison, who is an experienced Indy 500 driver who has raced for Dale Coyne. They've lost Alex Palau to Chip Ganassi, and Santino Ferrucci is gone too, probably for the best, but Ed Jones and Romain Grosjean are decent enough, and the small outfit could be looking forward to one of its better years in their long history. Ed Carpenter Racing. Rhinos VK was last year's Rookie of the Year, and he returns for a second year with Ed Carpenter Racing. He could be looking to get wins, but considering the team have won 5 races in their 10-year history, that is very unlikely. A former winner for the team is owner Ed Carpenter. He's back for a few races here and there isn't really anything more to say on the matter. Alongside VK and Carpenter is another old hand in Connor Daly, who has been on the scene for a long time and will be there for the majority of the season. VK might get a podium, but Ed Carpenter Racing shouldn't be expected to do anything special in 2021. Meyer Shank Racing. Jack Harvey is back once again for Meyer Shank. He was the lone car last year and in fact has been ever since Meyer Shank joined the IndyCar series. He does an okay job, nothing really special, but he finishes inside the top 20 most of the time. For the first time, Meyer Shank will have a second car, again for an old hand in Helio Castroneves, the man who has won the Indy 500 3 times but never won the overall IndyCar championship, will be in a Meyer Shank car for the Indy 500 and a few other races. Jack Harvey is only a midfield point scorer, and Helio will also score points, so expect a series at the normal level for Meyer Shank. Peretta Autosport. Onto a brand new team in Peretta Autosport. Owned by Beth Peretta, the woman-led team will only be attempting the Indy 500 in 2021. Maybe in the future they can go for a full season. For now, Simona De Silvestra is signed on to race, and she has scored a podium in IndyCar before. It'll be interesting to see if they qualify for the Indy 500 and where this project goes from there. It's also interesting that there are 2 drivers coming over from Australian supercars, and it's 3-time champion Scott McLaughlin and Simona De Silvestra. Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing. From the very new to the very old, we have Rahal Letterman Lanigan Racing, and they have retained Indy 500 superstar Takuma Sato. If you told me 20 years ago that Takuma Sato was going to be a 2-time Indy 500 winner, I'd have told you to shut up and asked you politely to leave. Now I'd consider him to be a top contender in the whole series. It'll be very unlikely for him to take a 3rd Indy 500, but I thought the same when he won his first one, so don't hold me to it. Graham Rahal is also still there, racing for his father's team. He may not have had the same level of success as Bobby Rahal, but he is still a competent driver, and his 6th place in the championship was his best for a few years. No Spencer Pigot this year either. Instead, there's a single driver in the Indy 500 for Santino Ferrucci, a man who forever will be branded an idiot for the moves he pulled in Formula 2. But he's had a few okay seasons for Dale Coyne, but will be focusing on the NASCAR Xfinity Series in 2021. I'm guessing looking for a NASCAR role going forward. This could be another good year for Rahal Letterman. Sato and Rahal are good drivers, and there will be opportunities for success for 2 very likeable drivers. Team Penske. Not a lot of change at Team Penske, and they could be the team to beat. 2-time champion and last year's runner-up Joseph Newgarden will always be a threat for wins, as our teammates former champion Will Power, who always wins a couple of races and has finished in the top 5 every year for the last 12 years, and Simon Pagenaud, who is another former champion who always performs well. Weirdly, out of those 3, Joseph Newgarden is the only one not to win the Indy 500. The combined experience of those 3 is a perfect platform for Scott McLaughlin to learn from on his first campaign in the series. The 3-time Supercars champion will be looking to impress and embark on a long and successful IndyCar career. Most of the success this year is probably going to go to this team. Pence are one of the most successful teams in IndyCar history, and you can look to them to continue that success. All 4 drivers will be in the top 10 at the end of the year. So that is my preview of the IndyCar 2021 season. Who is my pick for champion? Well, it's tough, but I'm going to go for Joseph Newgarden to win his 3rd title, taking back his crown from Scott Dixon, but only just. I'm going to go for Newgarden to break his duck in the Indy 500 as well. I really think this could be his year. I think Scott McLaughlin will take the Rookie of the Year slot. With his only 2 competitors for it being Romain Grosjean and Jimmy Johnson, I think just being there for the full year, including the Indy 500, will be enough for McLaughlin. It looks like it will be an exciting IndyCar series, so make sure you stick around because I want to cover the series more going forward, and I'll be doing that if you subscribe. Leave a like on this video, leave your thoughts and predictions for the year down below. Thank you for watching, and have a good one.